Hello, everybody, and welcome to the God is a Geek podcast. He scrambles to look for episode 442. My name is Adam Cook, and I am joined here by one bearded gentleman who goes by the name of Mr. Adam Carroll. Or Carroll? How Carroll.
Carroll. I can roll with that for a bit.
Yeah, okay. How are you, mate? You all right?
I'm good.
Glad to hear it. And just not just you. Less bearded than Adam Carroll, but you can say that of most people, is Sir Christopher of White. Hello, mate.
Bonjour.
I hope you're not offended by that. Obviously, it's just like there's next to Adam. We're all
no one compares to that beautiful beard.
No, we're all underbearded compared to Adam Carroll, and none more so than Mr. Christopher Hyde, who is mostly unbearded compared to anyone at the moment. Chris, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, no, but definitely. I mean, it's pales in comparison to Mr. Carroll. I'm surprised you didn't get a more 4-4-2 reference and do some sort of football thing, but never mind.
Well, Adam wouldn't really be very pleased with that, would he?
That's why you should have done it.
I
see Chris has had a haircut. I have, mate. I've had my ears lowered. It was getting ridiculous. So yeah, I'm quite. It was. I had it done yesterday. Happiest day of the year.
Wow!
But I was so happy when it happened. I was like, look at me. I was buzzing today. Okay. Yeah, it's a good day today.
I suppose the important question is: has everybody had their triple P? That's the
triple P.
The pre-podcast, and I'll leave the last. Everyone's good.
Oh
yeah. I'm not going to slope off. I haven't.
Oh dear.
Oh, so Chris goes silent.
So I haven't. He's risking it. He's risking it.
I'm going to save it for later.
Adam, you had a question. I feel like
I did have a question, but we seem to be drifting further away from what we brought up. But 442, okay, just to go back a piece. 442, and that's not an Instagram account of some sort, is it?
So if it is, it's not the reference I was making. It probably is for the football magazine.
I follow some football account. That's I know.
Why?
I know. Okay, wait a second. Okay, I think it's called 442 or something along that line. And it's just like people doing ridiculous things with footballs and like amateur footballers and pro football, and it's very entertaining. Quick videos. The only football thing I follow. It's worldies across the board.
You well done. 442 episodes. Genuinely stumped as to where to go next. I have got something though, right? Because
442. 442. Have you only just got why I said 442?
I didn't know why you'd said it at all. I still don't.
That's just come to me.
So it's episode 442.
I'm a bit slow for Mark.
Yeah, no, you're right. It is. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Did you just think I just randomly brought up 442 just to flummox Adam Carroll?
Confused. I was thinking.
I thought I just made some miraculous discovery. To be honest.
I was genuinely like, why is he talking about football? Anyway, listen, we've got to move on because I've been workshopping this while I was having my triple P, right? So I'm going to just lay this on you, and I'm going to pull my sleeves.
Oh, means business.
Oh, I'll just punch the mic into my face as well, but I'm rolling my sleeves up because this is important. I'm just straightening my virtual tie. Returnal of the Housemarque? Returnal of the Housemarque? No.
It was good. If you'd not fluffed the opening line, you'd have been alright.
Yeah.
Is there a way we can say return? So return of the Mac, return of the Housemarque, return of the Housemarque.
Yeah. Look, I can see what you're going for.
Thank you.
Kind of fucked us.
Would it be better if you'd have sang it? Yeah, if you'd literally sang it, that'd have been great. I would appreciate that.
Would you? All right. Here's the thing, and I'm not going to do it, so it doesn't matter. But if I had sung it, would one of you have gone? It is in the background.
Absolutely, 100%. I'd like to think all three of us would have done it.
Yeah, simultaneously. I nearly called it Returnal of the Housemarque again. Then Returnal is available. Myself and Chris White have been playing it. Just get into it. The first PlayStation 5 exclusive, apart from Demon's Souls, which was a remake. Housemarque, they were there with the PS4 with Resogun. They're there again a bit later, not like on launch. Returnal, Chris White. What do you reckon?
Disappointing, mate.
Okay, fair enough. Well,
no, it's not. I'm joking. I'm not a miserable knob. I really like it. I think there's a lot to be said about it, but I think the general kind of style and skill at Housemarque is fully on show. Like, they are renowned for being experts of gameplay and providing a satisfying experience, whatever the game, whether it's Matterfall, Next Machina, Resogun, whatever, this does it in a roguelite first person, and not only does it feel amazing to play, the setting and the kind of changing biomes and the world, it's just excellent. And like there is like a slither of a story, but it is like the Bloodborns and the Dark Souls, where you kind of make your own interpretations of what's going on at the point I'm on anyway. But like it just reminds me of Prometheus. Like that world reminds me of Prometheus, not Alien, but Prometheus.
But that universe, genuinely, totally agree.
When you're going around, like in Prometheus, when they land on that planet and they go into the caves and they see like the alien
last week.
I saw. Yeah, I thought as soon as I started playing, I thought you're gonna love the style of this.
God damn.
I will say that's quite specific to the first biome or level. I don't know if you've have you got so the second one is
so
no, it's a hard game. The second level or biome as we're calling it now, because that's what the PR have said, so we must all call it biomes. The second biome is, and I was hoping this as I was playing it, because it's like, so I will say I totally agree. Like it really gave me that kind of Alien universe, that oppressive feel of kind of sort of goopy, dark, kind of just foreboding almost, like every single corner. But I was at one point thinking, and this was just when I was on that first level, like, Jesus, I hope the whole game isn't this, because that would possibly be too much. And I won't spoil anything, and I don't think we've got any of the footage. I don't think I captured any of that. The second biome is different in terms of like colour palette alone, and actually it's very different in terms of the way it looks and you traverse, I think. Well, I don't think, I know, I've played it. But I'm totally with you, right? That I've swung hard and then very soft on this game. Like at first I was like, this is just amazing. And I would say that at no point did I ever sway from thinking how immaculately designed this game was. Because it does feel so well designed. Like whatever they did in those last few months where they had to delay it a little bit and polish it up, I'm just so pleased that they polished it, because it's, in that respect, I can't find fault with it. It's very hard. It kind of borrows from so many genres, Chris, would you not say? Like it's so many different, like it's have you gotten into the house yet?
Yeah. I'm almost like I feel like I'm getting towards the end of this first biome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've done the house.
Like the house, I won't say anything that happens in the house. All I will say is, all of a sudden it becomes a first-person horror game, like a bit PT-like.
I have seen this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they've shown it.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of the story comes from, and a lot of the backstory comes from. And then you come back outside, and the thing I didn't get right away from it was a lot of these roguelites. There's progression, and this is one of these games where there is progression. There are certain currencies and items you get that once you've got them, you've got them. But there's also a lot that you don't. Like as you're seeing on screen now, there's Ether is one of them, and I've got 3 on the screen here, so I put 3 in, and this is a way of getting new items each run. But you might want to keep your Ether because they also can cleanse stuff. There's a lot going on. At first, it rubbed against me because I actually didn't feel I was progressing quick enough, and I think a lot of people will have this problem. I think a lot of people will feel like, you're just wiped. Like you are just wiped, and everything's gone because it takes a fair amount of time to get your first proper upgrade.
Well, that was one of the things I was going to say. Like I've had times where I've been on it for a good solid 2 hours and not done anything, or thinking that I'm not doing anything.
Not progressed anything, yeah.
But what you are doing is you're learning the layouts.
Yes.
You are learning where the enemies are going to be. You learn how to get from one place to another, because even though they don't, like each area doesn't particularly link on every playthrough, you know what's coming when you do get somewhere. So you do learn, and then like after that playthrough, I went back and then did what I needed to do. So it takes a while to get like the what's the thing called?
I don't remember. I know what you mean.
It's like a big.
It's kind of a lightsaber.
What's it called in Satisfactory? Xenoblaster.
Oh yeah. It's
you get one of them.
A big Chokov sword.
A melee
big
weapon.
Red sword.
A melee weapon.
So, and then things become a lot easier, and then also you can harvest like those big kind of.
Yeah, like obelisks of currency.
Yeah, so
which is not what they're called, but you know.
And then, like, you'll get to an area where you see something you need to swing on, but you can't because you don't have the tool. So, like, you know that's going to then eventually.
Yeah, there's really clearly, like, it's so obvious. I don't know if there's any footage that I've captured here for it, but there's locations where it's so obvious you're going to be able to, like, it's glowing red, and you're like, I'm going to be able to get up there pretty soon. Like, I can't now, but I'm going to be able to get up there pretty soon.
The way like it builds up in each play, like the way your weapon, you become more familiar with your weapon and you become more experienced with it. So, like, you become more proficient, I guess. And like when you get like your standard weapon, you start with like a pistol, isn't it? Yes. But then you can swap it for like another pistol, which might have like homing missile.
See, that's my favourite. That weapon.
I always use a homing missile.
I've just started using the automatic weapons a bit more because I have found that they do.
See, I like that, and I like the shotguns, like whatever they're called. I can't
get on with the shotguns at all.
See, I like the shotguns, but like, say the homing missile, like if you're trading it for, like, because you'll get to swap weapons around, whether it's from a chest or whether it's from these kind of creatures that drop weapons, you can swap it, and then it'll show you what weapon you've got, and it will show you the weapon you're going to pick up, and it might say like it's bonus with a 0%. But if you were to pick that weapon up, the more you used it, the more that bonus's proficiency would rise and it'd become more useful. So there's that instant kind of like upgrade in your weapons from just firing and shooting and whatnot. But then if you die, you'll lose the weapon, but then you go back to that and find it in the field and it's got the same proficiency. So some things do stay, but a lot of it does disappear. But
there's actually also, it goes one further than that, and I've only just discovered that, is that when... So if people are watching this right now, like Chris is talking about the proficiency, in the very bottom left of the corner, you can see a 1 and a white bar. If you get hit, it's a bit like when you lose your combo meter. In fact, it is kind of a combo meter. Yeah. Like when you get hit, you lose your combo meter, your proficiency drops. You can actually get an item. I only discovered it on this. Literally played it just before coming on here. I found an item, a consumable, that gave me immediately full 5-star proficiency with whatever weapon I had equipped. And I was like, okay. And then... because I don't think I'd ever got that far or sustained that far, because I had a weapon I was really into, which was a homing one with really high damage. I also maxed that out, and it unlocked a secondary fire, not an alt fire, because there is an alt fire. It changed my gun from being like a pistol to a semi-automatic pistol, and I'd never had that before. And I was like, okay, I'm not sure I like this, because I kind of like that, but then the more because you're having to reload. By the way, it's also got active reload in it, which is quite difficult. I think I've got that, because so much is happening on the screen. You know, you'll see it in the video version of this podcast. So much is happening on the screen that it's sometimes you miss that active reload because you just don't see it. It's just you don't have bullets as such. It's recharging. You mentioned it the other day, but like the DualSense is worth. Yeah, we need
to
talk about that actually, because this is probably a better and more impressive use of haptics and that DualSense than Astrobot. I think if Astrobot would be the one you'd say try this. Of course, it's more accessible. It's an easier game, but this is. It's ridiculous, right, Chris? Like from the opening cutscene. Did I actually mention that on the pod where the music, where you crash your ship and it's like on the left-hand side only of your...
Yeah, you said that last week.
Like, but like, it's also the raindrops. Like Mick actually said at one point during the review he had to turn them off because it was so distracting. I've not found that. The only thing I had difficulty with at first, when you are learning the game, you aren't too sure of how it wants you to play, and eventually you realise that yes, you can aim down sights and zoom in. That's not how I would recommend people play. I would recommend you play it just shooting with the right trigger, and then if you really do need to aim, fine. But the reason being, I have got a PlayStation. Well, there's no point because if you're not watching the video, this won't make any sense. But like in Call of Duty, like in a lot of games that are shooters, if you hold the trigger down halfway, there's resistance. That's you aiming down sights. If you hold it down all the way, it clicks into the alt fire mode, and there's like a bit of so you've got to mean it. But muscle memory of playing shooters on a console since the dawn of the shooters on a console is that, right, so I want to aim, so trigger. No, you've got to kind of relearn that, and I'm not being funny. People are going to maybe dislike that, but that's going to be the case the longer we have this functionality with the PS5 controller. I like it. I like it a lot. I had a real moment where I was like, oh, this is just too much. I got to the second area and got to I thought it was a boss. It wasn't, but it did have a health bar. So it was like a mini boss. I mean, they've all got health bars, so I don't know why that really mattered. But I got to the second area, and it was a very clear. It was a cutscene. It wasn't the boss, but it was like, this is a new enemy. You're gonna have to deal with this. They're called a Severed, and that's all I'll say. And I got cocky, got arrogant, and it killed me. And of course, then straight back to the beginning of the game. And I had nothing. I was hoping to get there's very clearly a new item, like we talked about the glowing stuff. I'm pretty sure you can grapple to that, and I'm pretty sure you get that in Biome 2. And I really thought, I think this could be me done, because it was like an hour plus run. There's no saves. The run is the run. And I felt like, oh shit, this might have beaten me, because I've just lost. I didn't gain anything on that run, really, other than a bit of knowledge, because I got deeper. And then I went back to it today, and it was like, bang, it just clicked. It was like, because what I hadn't realised is that, yes, it's tough, and yes, you go back to the beginning, but once you've completed that first level's boss, you don't have to face it again. There is a teleporter, you can warp, you just have to get to the teleporter and you can go straight to the second biome. And to me, that's a really nice concession they've made, because you can still go around that first level and gear up. You can find a better weapon. You can there's like these doors with stars on that are like ultra hard, even for the first thing. All that sort of stuff, right? So there's all that. Or you could just leg it straight to the teleporter, because while it's procedural, it's not procedural in the way that like a Spelunky is. This is more a case of, say, there's 20 parts of the level that they fit together different ways each time. Like, this door will go to that bit, next time it'll go to that bit, but they're all, there's not so many of them you're like, oh, this is brand new. There's secrets and stuff you find. But it does so much. It's a shmup. It's a Souls kind of game. Like, there's even got that thing where you can watch someone's corpse, how they died, and then you can either avenge them or you can,
they're bastards there in the beginning.
Yeah, because I figured what they died to would be the same thing that I would have in that area, but it isn't. It's like a big bad, but you get rewarded for doing them.
There's little like logs, isn't there? Like, you can find little logs that detail a little bit, and like it's her talking on them.
They pop up, by the way. Sorry, Chris. They pop up quite regularly, but not too regularly. Just regularly enough to where you, like you said about the story, they pop up regularly enough where you're like, okay, they are giving me a bit. They're giving me a little bit more each time, which I find quite impressive. I don't know. I mean, I guess like, before we move away, does any, like, Adam or Chris, you haven't played it?
Well, look, with the reviews out today and stuff, what I've seen a lot of people go on about, and it's interesting now because you said about the teleporting kind of thing, right? The saving. I'm hearing a lot of people are kind of aggravated by some runs can last 90 minutes and then you're just boom, gone. And it's like,
no,
but then, like, I understand that, like, this is what these kind of games are.
Well, you can't save in the middle of Dead Cells. You can't save in the middle of Hades.
I know, that's the thing. So I'm just wondering, why is this the game?
I think it's just people have become too familiar with save points and they want it. It doesn't require it.
I think there is another. We'll get to it, but I think there are two issues that affect this. Is that one, the PlayStation, as I think all the consoles even the Switch does now, I think you can suspend them, right? You can just press pause because this is the thing. I think people are assuming that every room's got enemies in it. That's not the case. Like, not every room has got enemies in it. Like, in fact, you can go like 5-10 minutes and you don't really face any enemies or anything to worry you. So there are rooms that are safe, and in fact there are literally like secret rooms you can go to, and you drop down and there's chests. You could just stop there and you could suspend your PlayStation. But of course, there's been a lot of issues with PlayStation suspend mode. So people are like, well, I can't. But again,
that's not their fault, really.
It's not the game's fault. That is a hardware issue. And I've had it. I suspect we've all had it where we've pressed a button to turn our PlayStation on. And I find
the PlayStation is a lot worse than the Xbox for that. I think the Xbox is incredible, But PlayStation, I've had it where I've gone back to a game and it's right from the start.
Yeah, I mean, I would be genuinely curious about if like Sony could poll people and find out how many people who've had an issue with suspend mode have an external hard drive attached. Because I have a theory, like Mick, I said to him, because the thing is, external hard drives draw power via USB, they have different data transfer rates, there's always something going on, and Mick, I said to him to just unplug it. And he did, and he's had no problem since. And I'm just curious as to how many, because that's what I had with the Xbox Series X, and as soon as I unplugged that storage, it never had a problem again. So that'd be something interesting. But there is also the elephant in the room is that this game's 70 quid. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, that is the elephant in the room for two reasons. One is that's very expensive, and it's more expensive than a normal first sort of an exclusive game. The second issue is I wonder if that's why people feel there should be some sort of save points, because it's like there's still a snobbery around indie games and AAAs in that people, this is still an indie game, it's just been published with Sony because it's a Sony exclusive. But Housemarque are an independent studio and always have been. And I think there's a snobbery here a little bit that people are sort of going, oh, well, I'd happily pay for Uncharted 5 for £70, but I'm not willing to pay for this indie game. I will say go on, Mads. Go on.
I just want to quickly say that, like, I don't know if it's so much of it being like the indie side of it. I think it's more like
it is the price.
Ballsy to it's the price, but it's the price with this kind of challenge of a game. Like, this game isn't
but
like
Demon's Souls. Demon's Souls.
Yeah, but Demon's Souls. I always come back to, we obviously had this conversation a lot, haven't we, about price, and I agree that £70 is a lot, and I know you'll make jokes about.
No, it's too much. No, I actually won't. It's too much. The only way you stop it punishes Housemarque, and that, as someone who loves games, and I've interviewed Housemarque for like freelance. I remember interviewing them for Games Master. I've got quite an affinity towards them. I would still, if the game's bad, it's bad. It doesn't, but I have a real warmth towards that studio. I hate to say it, but it's punishing them, but
it is. I think it comes down to whether there's going to be obviously a lot of talk about this game already. It's only reviews haven't even been up very, very long.
No,
but I think there's enough information out there for people to make an informed decision, like most games. But and you have to come back to whether you think you're going to get £70 worth of enjoyment out of this game.
I would.
Exactly.
I
feel like from what you said,
game.
I would as well.
I think all of you would. I think probably a large part of our audience would, but there's also a problem in that this is a PlayStation 5 exclusive. And if you were lucky enough, which we are, and I'm sure people in the live chat right now, some of them have got PlayStation 5s. If you were lucky enough to get one, you're probably fucking desperate for a new exclusive that shows off that DualSense, that looks amazing on your 4K HDR telly. Like,
I just to go back to the thing you were saying about the difficulty and the progression bit. The question I had on it is, from what you've said, because I get your point about, like, you can't save in the middle of like Hades or whatever, or Dead Cells, but I can't recall a time where I've invested 90 minutes in a run of, or not 90 minutes, because Hades and Dead Cell runs are shorter than that generally, but a big run in those games and felt like I've not got anywhere because I'll have unlocked a new weapon, or I'll have got some stuff that I can use to level some stuff up or whatever in those games. So I guess my question is around, like, how many times did you, like, I know you mentioned it, you both mentioned it separately, like, how many times do you feel like that happens? Is it like...
It was only the one run that felt that way to me, and that was literally a run where I had got to the boss already, and I'll be honest with you, it was... Do you know when... this is the thing that gave me that Dark Souls feeling, and I'm not saying it feels like a Dark Souls game, I mean the feeling. When when you first encounter a boss in a FromSoft game, and it wipes the floor with you, but then you sort of, you finish, and you're like shaking the controller, you put it down, you're like, that was a really easy fight. I completely messed it up because I got overawed by the as soon as I had died to this boss, it was so obvious that this boss was not a difficult boss. So I ran through it again. Like I won't spoil, but if you don't find this stuff naturally, look it up. It's important stuff. An extra life. I had healing items, and I had another item that was really useful. And I thought, I'm doing this boss this time because I've got an extra life, I've got healing items. I didn't need either of them. It was that much. It was that kind of boss fight. It was like I knew I could do it. It was comfortably done. So then the next level, I like pushed on and pushed really deep into the second level, and then I died really stupidly. And I've just done it again. Actually, I got even further this time, and I felt really stupid.
You hate yourself, don't you? I do
was
that.
Basically, there's a big enemy in the sky, and it's got like it's a bigger version of one of the smaller enemies, and it throws loads of projectiles at you. It's very schmuppy. And I was behind a pillar, and I was kiting it like each time, and it was like, this is easy. But then I just got cocky and stayed out too long, and it wiped me, and I literally put the controller on and went, fucking hell, you idiot. But the first time I wiped on that area, it was like an hour and 20 minutes run, and if I'd have just it was like literally like, I've got to go and do something now. If I'd actually just gone again, I would have straight away realised, it actually lets you straight back to the next level really quickly. You don't have to go through it. But it was just, for me, poor timing, and I had to then walk away feeling like, man, if I'd have just played 10 minutes more, I would have probably finished the game by now, because I would have like literally I'm like so badly want to get back to it, man.
Yeah.
Just to go back again, I think like we have comments here now where like both Philip and Debbie Punk are saying like it's the price is an issue, right?
Well, let me read them out. Philip Tyndall says, really want to play Returnal, but €80 or €90 for the deluxe is a lot of money and makes what could be an impulse purchase into a more considered purchase, and the one that makes me think, wait for a discount. Deadbeat Punk says, 40 or 50 quid, and I would have ordered no problem. Chances are it will get forgotten in the long grass now. I don't think that's true, because it's an exclusive.
No, that's the only thing that I really think. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it will. But you're right. I think a lot of people will just be hanging back.
Yeah, I think. But like, if you think about it, right? You have, I think recently there's an interview with one of the devs from Days Gone, and he said something about like,
oh, don't bring that up. I'll get angry.
If you want a sequel of the game, or something, buy the game on fucking full price or something on launch day.
That made me very cross.
Yeah, and I understand, right? That's grand. But Sony, I think the sales of this game going forward is going to be very, very, very interesting, because everyone has talked about it, and this brings into the point of where I feel if games are going to go forward to be €80, because the last game I ever bought straight up on a PlayStation that was 80 quid was the first Assassin's Creed when that came out. That was €80, and I couldn't really understand what was going on. But here we are, we're back in it again, right? It is, I don't give a shit if it's Last of Us 3, Grand Theft Auto 6. It is too much money for people to be spending at this current state of time, and I think a lot of people are going to rely on hype, reviews, and Metacritic scores that are going to have to be in the 90s. I think those three things are where people are going to go, I'll go for it.
I'd say high 80s, because there's not many games that hit 90s.
I don't know. But that's what I'm saying, man. But that's where this kind of game, like, especially for this style of game as well, it's very like, people will wait, they'll see it for sale. I don't agree that this game should be £40 because of what it is. I think this game should be just 70 or 60 quid or whatever.
But what I'm saying, but Sony are saying we consider a full price video game to now be £70, 80. Is it €80? Is that what it is, or is it
€80 here? Yeah,
that's such like
it's
getting close to that 3 digits, isn't it?
Is that because they lose money on the PS5, don't they?
No, they are losing money on the PS5. Yeah.
So do you think that's the reason?
No, I think that they genuinely, and listen, we could spend the whole pod and next week's and arguing this. Games cost way more than they used to make. Like, there are no longer teams making spectrum. And I'm not saying it's an excuse. Please don't think for 1 second I'm going, it's fine. But it's not just Sony. Microsoft have said that they will look at this in the future. They haven't said they won't do it. That's the important thing. They haven't said we won't do it. Nintendo have been 60 quid for the longest time.
Yeah, I suppose the economies of scale, though, isn't there? With a larger audience now.
Is closer,
and I don't know what the balance is, but it feels like
too close to 100.
Yeah,
it's 70
is the cut-off point for me.
If they went 65.99, I think if they went 65.99. I think maybe people would have been less. It's rounding it straight up a tenner. It's going no longer, and that is a big jump. But
for base games as well, because then they start adding more on all the other.
I'd be curious. I actually haven't looked to what the deluxe edition gives you, because it would have to be consumables, or because there's no you don't level up in this. There's no they can. I don't know.
Is it like your art box and your soundtrack?
Could be that, and maybe it gives you.
Well, look, I'm telling you, if you're going to start throwing out your games at this price, and I know a lot of people don't give a shit about soundtracks and steelbooks and all that stuff. I want that stuff. If I'm going to be paying 80 quid. I probably would think differently with Returnal.
If like the OST was always there, Yeah,
throw in some nice little goodies, not just a standard. I don't know. It is just what it is.
No, I just
I
wonder,
want to support it, but it's difficult.
No. I know, especially with this game as well.
Yeah.
I wonder if they had, and it's totally hypothetical. It can't be done, but I wonder if somehow they'd managed to get Ratchet and Clank out in the 30th of April window, and Returnal was the June game. If that would feel different, because if you say to people, I don't think this way. But there is 100% a contingent of people that will be like, 70 quid for that game, whereas Ratchet and Clank will be this blockbuster. I think people are assuming Returnal won't look good. It looks amazing. Chris White, you played it.
It looks amazing.
Looks ridiculous.
It looks great.
There's no denying that. Like that's
I just
serious.
wonder.
I was thinking that, like, when we were talking, like, I wonder how much noise Ratchet and Clank's going to get. Compared to this,
it's an awkward time window. Sony always put a game out bang on E3, and it's this. Last time it was infamous. It's Ratchet.
And as of recording as well tonight, we have a state of play on Ratchet and Clank. Right, I feel that Sony. I think Sony are kind of worried about Ratchet and Clank. I don't
think so.
I don't know, man. I don't think
that game.
Many people are talking about it. I don't know if the buzz is there.
Insomniac are out there saying that it's the best looking. What's the quote?
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be incredible, but we can't keep just going around going, game looks amazing, $80.
But man, look at Miles Morales. What they did compared to the other Spider-Man, it just looked better, it played a bit better, and it was a great game. And I have, if there was a game this year, you could say to me, what's the one game you're sure will be really good? Ratchet and Clank. Like, there's no part of me that's slightly afraid. Those games are such fun for me. But
just here now, CP says the deluxe of Returnal, right? It comes with like, I don't know, electro pylon driver weapon, Hollow Seeker weapon.
So the Hollow Seeker is a weapon that you can get. So I'm a bit confused. The weapons are, you find them in chests. Sometimes enemies drop them. They're kind of it's a drop. The Hollow Seeker is definitely a weapon I have used.
So would it be like a permanent?
No way
weapon?
They do that. It wouldn't work. You couldn't do that.
So how much is the deluxe edition there?
80
how much
to 90,
is that deluxe
80 to 90 euros, I believe. So
kiss my hole. That is just like,
I agree.
Like I honestly think if that's going for it, that's what they should be throwing in as a choice. It should be a code in the box. But there you go.
What I would say, and I've always said this, so this isn't a new thing. There is the information out there. I firmly believe that God is a Geek gives terrific reviews. As the guy who kind of, if you want, commissions them, I wouldn't give them to people I didn't trust. We then come on the podcast where, like, Chris and I didn't review it, but we're here telling you what we think. I would say this. I like this game enough that if there was a special edition with, like, I mean, the statue probably wouldn't work. They could make a little spaceman, or spacewoman in this case.
Spaceman.
I would probably buy it. That's how strongly I feel about it. Of the house. Maybe not that, but...
Little spaceman, spaceman.
That's what I was trying. Oh yeah, you know what I meant. That little thing, the little space person. I would probably buy that, even though I have the game and have played it for over a week. I would probably get that. So what I would say is, listen to people like me. Do your tastes. No. Let me finish. Let me finish. I realise how that sounds. Listen to people. So do your tastes, as you're listening or watching this, generally align with mine and Chris White's? Do you like the games that we like? If you don't, if perhaps you like different kinds of games, like you're into, I don't know, like mix, normally it's just more first-person shooter type stuff, but listen to people you trust. Do your, generally, like 9 times out of 10, do you feel you align with mine or Chris's or anyone who you trust? Hopefully you trust us, and if then you get, but don't just listen to us. I'll never be that guy that's like, you only need God as a Geek. Bollocks. There's loads of people with loads of opinions, and there's loads of people, there might be a website you hate, but with a guy that you really think actually his opinions are bang on with what I usually feel. People work for who they work for. Do that, then make your decision. It is very, very expensive. See, like in the chat here, we've got Monster Hunter Rise, €48 physical, Returnal up to €90 for digital. It's just adding a mental and financial barrier. It is. That's true. Deadbeat Punk, Monster Hunter is a lot of game for the price of entry. That's true. But it's a very different game. Monster Hunter is all about repetition and grinding.
Yeah, it's about liking the game that you're.
I like exactly Monster Hunter Rise. I'd much sooner play Returnal.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I
know that.
I'd like to just say, like, look, I want to play Returnal super, super badly. Like, I'm
share
so
play, by the
excited
way.
to play it.
Sorry, before I forget, they're adding share play to PS5 games. Find someone who knows it. It won't be like 1-to-1 because there will always be a little bit of an latency when you're. But try it like that. It's a demo that way. A demo wouldn't hurt this game. A demo wouldn't hurt this game actually.
Maybe not. You know? But I'm excited. I'm definitely going to play it. But there's a part of me that like going to have to play this game for Game of the Year, come the end of the year, whatever. And like, I'm in my head going. I would hope that Sony would give people an opportunity with a sale. A few months down the line, they should absolutely, if they're going to continue with this, give people a sale for the game.
Yeah,
it has to happen. $20-$30 off it.
If they start discounting all of their PlayStation exclusives, do you know what I mean? Like, where are we going to be at?
No, not all of them, but like, I'm not
they
saying
haven't got
all of them,
many.
But,
that's
like,
what I'm saying.
Exactly.
They've got two PlayStation 5 exclusives, and one's a remake.
Yeah, but if this is the first game, like I think like gamers and stuff like that in general are just going to have to like speak up and be like, "Fuck this! I'm not buying them. I'm not buying games."
I
like
agree
this.
with you in principle. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that this will sell very well.
We could talk on it about it.
We could. So let's instead talk to Chris Hyde about what he's been playing. What have you been playing, Chris Hyde?
So I have started Nier Replicant, which we talked about last week, didn't we? I think. Everyone here's played, haven't you? Yeah, everyone here's played. You've finished it now. You finished it last week, didn't you? You done a second playthrough yet? Yeah. So I've only. I will say, because this will be, you'll get this vibe from what I now say about it, that I've only played the first few hours, and from what you guys said last week, the game has a very much a part two, a kind of point where it kind of opens up, and I am not there yet. So my reflections on what I played so far are definitely
it opens up, just changes. I think
just changes. Okay, yeah, sorry, yeah, changes. So what I will say about this game, I said last week that this series is batshit crazy, and Square Enix don't give a fuck about it. They just say this is it, and they go all in on it. What do you mean?
I don't agree. Sorry. I thought you were saying Square Enix don't give a fuck about Nier.
No, they don't give a damn that it is crazy. They go in 100% on it being crazy.
I think that's great.
And that is great, and that's why I liked Automata, and
yes.
I am enjoying what I've played so far of Nier Replicant. I want to carry on playing it.
Please, could you use its full title, Chris?
1.22 something or other.
I thought you might actually.
I haven't memorised what one and a half.
You might think
square root of 1.5 is.
No, but I thought you might think he's a bit of a twat. He'll ask me this.
Every time I load it up and I see that number, I'm like, oh, that's the square root of 1.5. I'm really pleased. That's like a maths thing, but that only me would care about that. And I'm like, yeah, it is actually 1.22 squared. Yeah, that's 1.5.
And
anyway,
by the way, I love that because they could have just called it 1.5. They could have.
Yeah.
But the fact they didn't is like... And the fact that Square let them, by the way, that's on the box.
Yeah. But to be honest, I originally just thought they were just being a dick and just putting a random number there.
So did I.
I actually prefer that it's like... Oh, it's a square.
Oh, yeah, no. It's
anyway.
Yes.
Anyway.
The game. Sorry.
So a few observations from the first few hours of Nier Replicant. And you guys did touch on a bit of this, when you've covered it, is... Christ on a bike, it's just to in and froing from one lass to a destination back to the same lass over and over again, which is fine. I don't mind it too much, but there are moments where the character, you go on a quest and that's cool, and you maybe go to a new area, fight some enemies, and that's fine, and then I go, I think we should go and see what Popola thinks about this. And we're like, oh, for fuck's no fast travel? Okay, let's go and see what she thinks. She's not going to move from her desk. We're not going to meet halfway. No, she's just going to sit there. We'll go to her. And then off you go, back to the library and go and see Popola. And she's got nothing new to say. No. Maybe, you just think, oh. So I do get what you guys were saying. Yeah. I'm obviously being a bit mischievous with it because it doesn't bother me too much, but there were a couple of viral moments when they're like, let's go and see what Popola thinks, like for the 18th time. Yeah, let's go and see what she thinks. But what I will say is I am leaning, I think, more towards what Adam Carroll was saying when you guys were talking about the traversal, empty world stuff and it not bothering me as much. I think because it doesn't bother me. Like you say, the running around stuff and the smooth combat and stuff. I don't mind traipsing back.
You got to the desert section?
No, so I will say like that bit that I know you said that you thought was really slow. I haven't done yet. So again, all of this comes with massive caveats. I could come back next week and go, that game is ridiculously slow. But for right now, I think as well with the bull riding as well that speeds stuff up. I don't know how many areas that extends to in the game, but the few that I've unlocked that you can get on board, that speeds stuff up. So I think whilst there's not fast travel, there is ways to move stuff around.
The conveniently placed boar outside the village.
Conveniently placed snorring boars
that you had to fight earlier, but now she pal.
Apparently, if you get a tusk of a boar, they just go to sleep and you let them ride. That's of course Nier Replicant.
Of course. I wouldn't have it any other way.
No, exactly. So, I've not found the toing and froing apart from Piper sitting on her ass. I've not really found that annoying. That's okay. Yeah. And I think that the pace of it's okay. What I will say, I'll ask a question about medicinal herbs to everybody. Now, did you because you can only carry 10 of them, and this is a really small thing, but Christ on a bike, I just keep finding them, and I don't know why the drops are so frequent.
You can change that with like your is it the words where they can increase drop rates and do you know the thing? And Adam and Chris could probably tell me this is to tag on to what you said. I'm sure in Automata there was like an auto use thing you could get where if you dropped to a certain amount of health, it would use one of your potions.
Oh, right. I see what you mean.
I'm sort of hoping if I get time to go back to Replicant that's in here.
I mean, there's a shortcut, isn't there?
A shortcut on the D-pad,
No, I just
it's not quite the same. No. Yeah. But I was just like, when it was like, okay, you've hit 10, and the first time it happened, I was like, okay, I've been doing the normal Chris Hyde thing where every time I look see a shiny, I go and hunt under trees and stuff. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I get it. I just need to stop doing that. But then I'd be fighting a group of shades in the field, and 6 of them would drop medicinal herbs. I'm like, I can only carry 10 of these, and that the item drops aren't varied enough, and maybe it's because I'm too early. But I just wondered if
I think like when I was playing it, I was like, this kind of situation, there's just constant herbs everywhere. Yeah, but unless you bump up the difficulty really in that game, it's Nier is not trying to be a difficult game. It's just not. No. I don't like. I think what we're seeing on screen now with the like red orb stuff, all that kind of thing, that's when it's at its most difficult, when you're trying to jump over those waves of those kind of things, and you will start using your herbs a lot more. But like, it's not a hard game. But I just we didn't actually have Chris White last week to talk about, and he reviewed it. Actually. But like, I think like the lasting impression for me, I'm thinking about this game a lot. Like, I really like Replicant. I said that before, but Chris, I just want to know, like, if you can touch base, like, how you're feeling after the review and stuff, and a few days gone by, like.
Yeah, I mean, like the story of Nier is, yes, it is. It's crazy, but like, it's so smart as well. Like, I was reading this thing on Reddit, and someone had basically, like, when Nier was out, and obviously that's been out for a while, and Replicant was like the Japanese version, like an updated version where he wasn't, because he was the father of the girl, wasn't he?
There was 2 versions of the
game.
Then,
there's one where this Replicant, he was the dad. So anyway, someone's put together the dates that span across not just Nier but Automata and then the what's the dark Drakengard.
Yeah.
And like, it's crazy how much story is in that, and it's so like, and I'm kind of going off on one, but like, so for Replicant itself, like, I adore the story. I think.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I think Taro is a very special individual when it comes to the story for Nier, and I also think like his ideas of how the game comes together with, like, the different genres it introduces. Like, it takes things from other games, and some are obvious, like, well, I won't say anything. Well, some are obvious, like nods to big franchises, where others are just kind of like the mechanics are similar. But he manages to kind of throw them all together in such a smart way. Like there's a section where it's literally just like you're reading a story.
Yeah.
Like I was expecting to go into this place and be like, right, new enemies, this and that, and then you're just reading a story.
But even then, the way, because do you know when you first start the game, it's got the borders at the top and the bottom.
Yeah.
Like there they are. I'm just showing them on screen. There's borders at the top of the bottom, and they're really peculiar. When you first play them, I was like, "This is kind of annoying." Like I kind of wish they weren't there. It's taking up because the game's
and they're not the same. They're not the same width. That really bugs me.
It's weird.
But when you get to that bit, I feel like the whole of all of that was leading up to that bit, so they could have it fill that bar, and then the bar gets bigger, and then the bar gets bigger, and all of a sudden the game's gone, and it's just text, and it feels like a whole thing that, you know what, he probably planned you to feel pissed off by that, and then
quite possibly,
it's just genius. It's so clever.
It's like things that the Nier game that Replicant does that are kind of like Adam Carroll said something in chat about something that gets mentioned later on in the game is a bit uncomfortable. It's just a bit weird. And then there's also something like the boy with the blindfold.
Yes.
When they leave wherever they are,
Emil.
There's some reference to Kanye fancying him, and it's just a bit like
Kanye.
Kanye West.
Kanye.
When she appeared, all I could hear was Kanye. It was sorry, I did. Smile.
But aside from that, like the characters, like they're so like I love how they flesh them out. Like there's a real kind of depth into each character. Even like Emil, obviously we saw him briefly in Automata. But this is his story. This is how he came to be. With Kanye or Kanye West.
No, it is Kanye.
Yeah. She gives me 2B vibes because
oh yeah,
I love 2B, and like she's so cool. Like she's obviously surly, but like some of the I pointed out one of her sayings in the review just being
superb. I read your review.
Yeah,
that's a personal favorite, and then it was one of the first things I heard. It wasn't the first thing, but in a battle, but it was like the second or third, and I was like,
I'm going to rip your eyes out.
Was it about ripping out eyes?
Yeah.
Ripping your eyes out.
Yeah. And she's anyway, Laura Bailey.
She's Duke Nukem.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's
like Grimoire Vise as well. Like Liam
great.
O'Brien, he's an incredible actor as well. Like from Critical Role and whatnot, and he's done loads of voice work. Like he's amazing, and because they've obviously worked together, they've got a great rapport. Like, and then even like Emil, who can be annoying at first, but like he really grows on you, and just. So the story itself, I find really interesting, and the way it ties to Automata and whatnot, and then the gameplay itself is just like the combat. The only thing I did struggle with was some of the camera angles can be a bit frustrating.
In battles, they can definitely.
In battles, But like when you kind of get to grips with it, like that combat is fantastic. Like Adam Carroll, you mentioned about or it might have been one of the Adams said about like the red balls like firing at you. Yeah. And like they're like can be really tricky, but when you've got that dark wall, like you use like you unlock this ability to have this like wall, because every red power up has different stages, doesn't it? Like there's one with spikes where if you hold it in for a little bit, it'll fire one spike, and if you hold it in for a bit longer, it'll fire 3. Like this wall then becomes like this like sphere over you, like half sphere over you, and like protects you, like so that'll protect you from them. So if they're coming at you, that'll block it, and then you could use other moves to take out any enemies that are coming at you with blades. So it's so layered, the combat is. And like I
like how like you say that it's different. What you've just described. I mean, I don't know a lot of the detail of some of the later fights, but I can guess it having played Automata. There is, even from what I've unlocked in terms of the magic and the kind of martial arts stuff, there's clearly. You can approach different things in different ways, right? Because you can use your sword to stop magic, or you can use your own magic to stop magic, or you can dodge it, or you can block it. And there's just so many different things you can do, and like it just means that it's not like you've got to play it this way. Like or it's not like you unlock a new skill and that's obviously stronger than the one you just got. Like I find situations where I'm just using the starting orb.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I
because
think
that's really useful
for
certain situations. Yeah, exactly.
One of the best, right? Like 15 hours in.
Yeah.
And like when it only really changes when you do become an adult, which is everyone knows that you grow up because it's in the trailers and whatnot. But you gain access to, obviously by then you'll have all kind of like the sealed verses, which are the power-ups, and then you get access to like a long sword or like a heavy weapon. You've got your single-handed sword or weapon, and then you've got your spear. And then you have to kind of factor them into each battle you have. So there's so many options. And like when you're going for all these different like styles of game, like there's isometric views, there's top downs, there's all sorts, and they all kind of come into play, and it's just so well put together of how it all works. And I think right up until the end, well, I say the end, is even more after that if you want to like see what all the alternate endings are, which are like I've seen some of them. I think they just add more to all the character stories as well. It's not just about the lad, like it's just it's brilliant. It's not Automata, but it's still like a fantastic kind of.
It's a game. I feel that when like if it was ahead of its time for when it came out, I feel in storytelling and atmosphere, it's definitely striking a tone.
It didn't quite make a big dent on the public, and I do think it was too ahead of its time. People were ready for that awareness at that time and that kind of those ideas, but I think they are now because obviously Automata did so well.
Yeah.
Well, Chris Hyde, anything else you want to talk about, or shall we move on to Mr. White?
No, we can't talk about Satisfactory every week, so let's move on.
Chris White, what have you been playing?
So, I have been playing Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil 7. Because I never got a chance to finish it. And it's just one of those games where I couldn't get to it. There was always something else. And I thought, with Village on its way, I thought, right, I'm going to try and finish this. So I still haven't finished it. I'm about...
You got time?
3-4 out. Well, I don't know where I am, but I know that I'm at the house. I've just done Lucas's bit in the weird psycho electric house of fun. I'm now on the tanker playing as Mia.
Yeah.
And like, I haven't reached the bit that kind of flips it for everyone. You know, where it kind of turns too much into a.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not there yet, but like, I think from what I've seen of Village, it's incredibly different, and like the story itself, I love how it kind of the world of Resident Evil is now about different biological organizations. After Umbrella fell, they are all kind of coming out now and trying to create their own bioweapons, and I like how that's kind of factoring in with the mold and the girl. And I know what happens because I have read what happens because I wanted to be prepared for Village. So, but I'm kind of experiencing it. I'm like reading, like it's always fun reading like the little bits and stuff, and like just kind of seeing this world expand beyond what we're all familiar with. And it kind of bothers me that Chris is in it because I feel like we just should let new characters breathe, and this is a new trilogy. Just kind of leave it behind. Like if they want to touch on the past, that's absolutely fine. But like just allow it to be Ethan, and because I think he's an interesting protagonist. And like these characters that have been created, like the Bakers, are just horrendous, but also really interesting as well. And they're kind of how they started to become like it's not really their fault, is it? Like they didn't choose. They've kind of been corrupted by Evelyn. So it's like when you see how they've kind of like when you read about what's kind of gradually happened to them, but then you face them and like I've just like as I said, I've just fought Jack in that boathouse where you've got to shoot his eyes out. It's like fuck, it's horrific. Just oh my god, like it took me a while, but like I love Resident Evil, man, and it's been so long since I should have played it a long time ago. We tried doing it for a stream, and then I thought, right, I need to kind of just finish this before Village.
Yeah, you'd never have got finished it if we were waiting to do a stream. Never would.
So I'm so close, but I think, like, I'm loving it. I don't really talk much more about it because
no, that's fine.
I'll make a mistake.
That's fine. So what else have you been playing?
So other than that, I mean, there's a lot of stuff over the next few weeks in previous senses, which I can talk a lot about. But I've played Apex Legends Legacy, the new expansion coming to it, and I won't talk loads about it because, I mean, it's Apex Legends, but it is.
Well, it's
doing
a
lot more.
It's not Battle Royale, is it? It's the first time they've gone, okay, we've got this. Now we're doing
that's a really big thing to do, like, because it's so popular now and so many people are playing it. They've literally created a new mode, which obviously implements the same ideas in the gameplay, but uses like a tournament mechanic to it. So it's called Arenas, and you play in teams of 3 against another team of 3 over 3 rounds, and you will go into battle. You basically, before each round starts, you get to spend points on weapons, and you start off with like 550 points, and you can buy like a weapon, you can buy any consumables, you can find whatever. Then you get thrown in, and then you have to beat the other team in a smaller area, not a huge map because that would be stupid. In a smaller area, and then if you win, you get to spend a load more points on the second phase.
It kind of reminded me a bit of Gun Game, or maybe even like CS:GO, like you say, where you buy your weapons before. And
yeah, it is. Yeah. But like, it's just a really smart way to play it, and like, for me, I won't be playing the mode because it's too intense, man. Right. It reminds me of like when I stepped back into Modern Warfare after, like, when I was about. God, how old was I when Modern Warfare 2 came out? Well, like, when that came out, I was a lot younger. I was a lot quicker. My reflexes were a lot better. And like the next time I played a Modern Warfare game, I was terrible.
This is why you're cack at Returnal, mate.
Yeah. I prefer a slow, methodical game.
Which game was it that you played that we did a YouTube video
Call
of?
of Duty, that was. Yeah.
Call of Duty, was it? That was superb.
Well, that's what I mean.
All real, by the way.
Genuine reactions.
No, I know. I know.
That video was like 20-odd minutes.
I know it was. But it didn't seem like it was. I remember editing it thinking this doesn't need to be 20 minutes at all. This just needs to be 3 of every expletive. And it was. Still, yeah.
But like, so that's how I am.
And sorry, and some new expletives I'd never heard.
Yeah, exactly.
Just some put together in a glorious way.
Portmanteaus there of words.
It was one of my favourite videos I've ever seen edited. But thank you.
But mate, you only worked with what you got, and it was gold magic. I'm telling you that now. Well, we're slapping each other on the back.
So, along with the new mode, there is a new legend.
Yes,
and it's like they've constantly kind of linked to Titanfall 2 through a lot of their lore in Apex Legends.
This was always coming. This was always coming, wasn't it?
This feels like a really big nod to the Titanfall, like really big, with Valkyrie being like Viper's daughter.
Yes,
and like they because when you play the game, there's not a lot of story because it's just you just go in. But like having that knowledge, it's like when Overwatch did those like mini videos and they did the comic series. It like just fleshes it out. And like the trailer it's probably available now. I don't know, but the trailer we saw at the event that I did, like it detailed her relationship with her father, and how she stepped into his footsteps, and she was going to kill Blisk. And then he kind of convinced us to join the Apex Legends tournament. It's just really, really cool, like nodding back into that universe, especially like when you consider that battle on the top of that ship in Titanfall 2 against Viper was just mental, and how he ended up. But like, she's really awesome.
Chris Hyde is looking so blankly. I don't think he's played Titanfall 2.
You know I haven't played Titanfall 2.
I didn't know you hadn't played Titanfall.
I'm never going to bring it up because, like, I'm well aware. No, I know. I'm well aware that Titanfall 2 is like on one of your highest pedestals, probably just slightly below Final Fantasy 7. So there's no chance on earth I'm just going to go.
I wish I'd pressed the camera button for you because it was almost like I could almost hear you thinking, if I don't blink or move at all, no one will notice I'm just there going...
Please don't ask me about my opinions of Titanfall.
I could just see there was literal no movement. I'm almost sure you were going and holding your breath as well. I'm not.
It's the connection frozen.
It's like with a small child when you just go where are they? And they go, oh my god, he's gone.
Yeah.
Sorry, Titanfall. Not Titanfall. Apex Legends.
Yeah, so Valkyrie.
She's
recon class, and she's got a jetpack.
Okay.
And one of the things that the devs were talking about as well were they've managed to get a jetpack into Apex Legends and a bow, and they said they're now a real video game. Their words.
Now they're a proper Fortnite competitor.
But now they're a proper and the jetpack's cool because you can obviously fly in. Oh, if you they've and also it's all about balancing, isn't it, with Apex? Yeah. So you can't have a jetpack and then kill everyone from the skies and dodge and stuff without being an obvious target. So she can fly up, but she is noticeable and she hasn't got rapid movement, so you can take her out. But then she can fire this missile swarm on enemies that kind of flushes them out of the hole. So she's really useful in that way. And her ultimate, she basically flies over. It has to be well orchestrated, but she'll fly over her two teammates and she can pull them out and take them to another area of the map. That's quite far away. Yeah. And then there's the bow as well, which is the new weapon, which works amazingly. And yeah, it's not just an update. It's a proper.
No, this is a big one.
It feels like a really big expansion for Apex Legends. So that's what I've been playing.
Fair enough. Mr. Carroll, have you anything you'd like to add or talk about this week?
Very quickly, I won't be too long on this, but I have been playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I know now, Chris White, you are a fan of this game since day one.
Yeah, I haven't finished it, but I have played a lot of it.
Yeah, I was pretty cold on it for just reasons, but mainly my biggest reason was I was playing it on the PS5, but this update PS5 version wasn't released, if I'm correct. I think it just came out PS4, and that was the version we were all playing.
Yeah, it was slightly later that the free upgrade.
Slightly later for the other one, right? Yeah. So I was like, shit, I'm gonna go back and play this because I looking back on that version, I think that it looked rough. I personally did think it looked very rough, compared to other Assassin's Creed, because I recently only just completed Origins, and I thought that game looked amazing. So I was a bit thrown off when Valhalla was just a bit behind in its visual department. Jumped into this PS5, the actual PS5 upgrade now, if that's what we're going to call it. Lads.
Yeah, see, I want it on PS5 because I've been playing it on Xbox.
It's getting the Adam Carroll cat's pajamas seal of approval here. This is astonishing. I'm going to go as far as say that this is my favorite looking game on PS5 currently. I know we can look at Spider-Man and Demon's Souls and stuff. Valhalla's lighting is something else, and the world and everything is just so much better. And I know it's a given, because this is what it's supposed to do.
What a comment. Sorry, have you seen the live chat? Deadbeat Punk, look at his wee happy face. He's battering the English in 4K.
And the thing is, I'm so into the story now, and I went right back to the start. I'm super into the story now this time, and I'm in England now, and I'm going around the place, and I know the DLC is coming out for Ireland and everything, and I'm just all excited. I'm just having a great time. I'm more into it, and definitely wasn't in the right mind frame when it got released. Same. I think I don't think I was there.
I've also downloaded it on PS5.
There was so much at that point, there wasn't there? There was so much that came out at the same time.
Well, I was literally reviewing two new consoles, so it was I can't play Assassin's Creed Valhalla right now. I can't. Yeah, I did try. I did start it. It was but it wasn't I
wasn't oh my god. But I'm actually using the photo mode in this. I never use that.
Wow.
I never use that in games. Just don't give it really much time. Using that loads, and I'm just oh my god. I'm just doing the whole thing that what Assassin's Creed does best for me. And I know it's the classic Ubisoft thing of just clear out the map. Now this game is huge, but I'm so into the lore, I'm so into all it's offering, and I think this Rat of the Druids DLC sounds really mad, and I'm just so keen to see how they capture Ireland in this visual aesthetic that they now have it in. By God, I'm loving it. I am so in love with it. And like, even I actually remember at the time, Chris, like saying to you, like the raids were like weird to me. Like I didn't think they were as epic and on that jazz. And I still feel like, you know, sometimes when you pull up in the boat and it, you know, you press triangle for raid, and it's like it almost feels like it's that little bit too early. Yeah,
there are, like, I know exactly what you're saying, because like there's so many raid spots on the map. And you can like press the raid and you blow your horn, it's all epic. And then you all run out and there's like 4 guards like, ooh.
you start running to the village, but you're kind of going, geez, you really let them know you were coming there, didn't you? Like, it's kind of hilarious.
In Assassin's Creed, by the way.
Yeah. I know.
Let's not pretend anymore that this is a stealth game.
There are raids later on, like, are just insane. Like, they're proper, like full-on warfare. Like there's this, I think it's Burr Castle, and you're going across the sea, and like there's like loads of soldiers firing fire arrows at your boat, and like you're all kind of having to hide behind your shields, like Viking formations traditionally all just banded their shields together, and there's like a wall of shields. So you're doing that, and then you finally get onto land, and it's like dark and it's misty, and there's fire everywhere, and there's like hundreds of soldiers, and in fact because this is a long time ago, I previewed it, and one of the guys who was watching me play it said, this part, enemies spawn infinitely. You will not be able to clear out this section of the raid because they will just keep coming. And it's essentially when you have to climb over the wall of this castle and face the boss. But like, there's so many enemies just coming at you, and it's like, it feels like a proper, like Shadow of War. And this was my point at the time. Like Shadow of War was the same. It feels like a proper battle. Like battlefield, proper war, and that's what it does. When it's doing that well, there's not a game like it, and that's where Valhalla really shines.
It really does. And I think, like, look, there was a big patch drop. Well, a big patch. It was a 5 gig patch anyway. Dropped like 2 days ago or something, and it's like after doing loads of bits to it again, Valhalla is definitely. It's definitely worth the shot if anyone like has not played it or has maybe waited. I'm so glad I waited. I'm so glad because
I'll be the same.
Yeah, it's Jesus. Like, it's. Do you remember when we first all played like Witcher 3 and stuff, and we were all like commenting on how that just looked in general? It just does that whole thing. Like, do you know when a kind of, I just like imagine if God of War came. Imagine if God of War came to like a PS5 kind of upgrade or something, or what even.
Well, they did patch it.
Oh, they did. Sorry, they did.
They did. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What's that actually like?
Fantastic, man.
Yeah, it's just a nice game still.
So sexy. Like I didn't play loads of it because I just thought I'm going to play it all if I do. But like, it does look.
That's why I did the same.
It looks amazing.
I started up and I was like, nah, can't do this now.
Yeah.
Before we move on, Adam, there is a sort of comment here from Phil Tyndall that I feel would probably be better for you to read out.
I was going to hope that you were going to try.
Why would I, though?
And then you just like ruin it.
I'll try, but I don't want. Okay, fine. I wonder. Phil Tyndall says, I wonder if they will cover all of Ireland or limit it to Leinster or Ulster. Also, will they add some Irish mythology with Brian Borrow? Hang on.
I know the N word.
Eason.
Sorry.
And Neve.
Yeah.
So you said Leinster wrong.
Oh, right. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, you said Leinster or something like that.
Leinster.
And then Leinster. It's Brian Boru.
I mean, I didn't get that wrong. Brian Boru. That was
and then it's Oisín and Niamh.
Oh yeah, Oisín. Yeah. I knew that because I was thinking of Roisin and sort of
Oisín and yeah. So I don't know if they better cover all of Ireland, and I'd like to see them come down my way, down to Munster there, and I'll meet them or whatever. But like,
knocking at your door. Adam comes out, lumberjack.
It really doesn't take long for all of Ireland to be covered, if I'm brutally honest. Like, we're not absolutely gigantic here, no. Like, so.
No.
I hope it is, and man, those fucking green fields and the mountains and shit, they get that right.
Okay. You don't start singing the national anthem or anything.
No.
Yeah, no, you can. Hey, listen, might get demonetised. I don't know.
Off the rebel car.
Let's,
I'm there.
let's do some listener correspondence. This is your, I guess, 3 or 4 minute warning if you're in the chat live to send questions. Otherwise, we've got one actually because we sent out on our Discord. And Deadbeat, show us your feet. Weighed in with the Queen's Golden Wii is currently up for auction at an eye-watering price. If a company were to make you a custom console, which console would it be and how would it be styled? Looking forward to Adam saying the Queen's Golden Wii out loud. Bonus points for Croc. Don't know which Adam, but I've said it. The Queen's Golden Wii. Well, go on then. You didn't know. You have to say it. You can't just say, yeah, I'll say it and then not say it.
No, I said you've said it. I said it's what you
yeah,
said
but you should say it as well.
The Queen's Golden Wii. There you go.
Give the people what they want.
Give them what they want.
The Queen's Golden Wii.
Yeah. Queen's Golden Wii.
What was the question?
So,
what would your
custom
console be?
Yeah. I'll start.
Big, massive Mandingo dick.
Okay, I think it's supposed to be a console.
What console is that? Is that the Wii U?
Yeah.
So,
that's what you said, Adam Cook. You said that.
I feel like maybe I shouldn't go first.
Yeah, no, you better just go now. Just please, for Christ's sake.
So I was thinking. I missed what you said then.
I don't think. Just carry on. What would your custom console be? Please, Chris.
Okay,
this is why live is such a bad idea.
Yeah.
I was thinking back to what we were saying the other day. Was it last week when we were talking about consoles, first consoles? So I'd get a custom Spectrum 128K, and I'd have Dizzy all over it in commemoration of my first game on that console. Because I don't have that console anymore, so I'd get more use out of a console I don't have rather than just getting like a custom PS5 or something. Yeah, for the purposes of this question, because that's what I want my answer to be.
Okay, I mean,
it's close enough that Coward's answer is a console. Sorry, the consoles only start with the NES.
I don't think the Spectrum is a console, but I'm not going to argue with it because it's literally a computer. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
I don't.
It's fine. You can have your Dizzy covered Spectrum.
Thank you. This didn't come up when we were talking about first ever consoles like before.
No.
But okay.
No, you're right. It didn't. It should have.
No.
Perhaps I was feeling less pedantic that day than I am today. Chris White, have you got a custom console?
Make sure it's a console, Chris.
Yeah.
PS1 designed like the Millennium Falcon.
Oh,
it could work.
Okay.
The flap at the top and then you look at the body around the side. Oh, look at that. And then these two bits, I don't really know what the blasters would be, but yeah. So the Millennium Falcon, PS1.
I don't think I've got one. I'm not a big fan of them. Like I don't really. I thought we've had this chat before. Like I'm not. I mean, if they were making me a custom console, it would kind of be like beige or like.
That'd be a killjoy. Come on.
Yeah, you literally could just say anything. It's like I like custom consoles.
Fine. But just let it be known that you made this happen. I want a Wii U in the shape of a big old donkey dick, all right?
Yeah. Okay. And then what I'm looking forward to is what Adam Cower's answer is going to be, because I can't have two of the same answer.
No, he's already answered, and he's definitely not... No, he's not going again. He's not going again. You missed it, Chris. You'll have to watch the playback. Yeah.
Oh, will I? Okay.
No, I knew what you meant, Adam. I knew what you meant, but maybe I didn't. I don't know. I don't watch pornography.
He's an icon.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, strangely, we haven't got any questions in the live chat.
I really don't want that to be how we end.
Well, I'm afraid it has to be. Because there's no live chat questions this week. Just a lot of people face palming. Oh, hang on. No, I'm not reading that. Well, I'll read that. Phil Timber says,
bejazzled balls at that bit.
Yeah.
Listen.
That has been the God is a Geek podcast.
To it, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've got to add some glamour to it.
Bit of speckling.
What's more glamorous than a vajazzle?
Speckling
around the shaft is what.
Oh, look.
There's a podcast.
Look, once you get going,
you started this, and Chris forced it. I do normally start it, but I didn't force it. And Chris wouldn't let me get away with just my beige console of boringness. He had to make me say more things, and now you've opened this whole world up. I don't think I said,
Adam, can you please bring up the big donkey dick again, please?
It's not what this text in my pocket says. You Sometimes you get what you pray for, and sometimes you get what you ask for. And you've had neither on this podcast. But we will be back next week whenever you choose to listen. I'll say it early because I'm so flustered. But we would also love it if you went to iTunes or whatever. It's weird now because it used to be when I started doing podcasts, go to iTunes, rate us 5 stars, helps us up the charts. I don't think anyone listens using iTunes anymore at all. But whatever service you do use, we really appreciate. We really appreciate the love and support, really. I did say we'd do a code drop, and I'll be honest with you, completely forgot about it. I've still got the codes, and I will do a code drop. I just have to find the time to sit and, make all the keys work with my fingers. And otherwise, go to patreon.com/GodIsAGeek if you enjoy this podcast, because you can watch us live. And
what? I don't even know what that made me laugh.
Keys work with your fingers.
Keys work with my fingers. Sorry, so unprofessional, but that just made me smile. And then Chris started giggling, and that was it.
No, I don't understand, Adam, why they're being this way.
You and your busy fingers.
Yeah. But yes.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Professional. Bloody hell, you were the one talking about donkey dicks.
I didn't start it, but I'll finish.
All right.
All over your face.
Oh,
it's
double barrel.
Oh no! What's happened to Adam's camera right at the end there? Hang on, that's no good, is it? He's gone. He's gone.
He's literally gone.
Yeah, he's back. Right. So yeah, go to godisageek.com. Make sure you do. If you just listen to this or watch it, we are a website. Godisageek.com. Go there. There's some great guides, previews, videos. Everything's there. Go there. Go there now. Right now. As soon as you press stop, go to godisageek.com. Yeah.
Got a shout out to Philip.
Shout out to Phil for the super chat there. So thanks for the pods, lads. Thanks for the pod, lads. Hopefully it will go some way to the demonetization we just caused.
Yeah. Cheers, mate.
But yeah, godisageek.com for all your gaming needs. That should be the slogan or something. I should do this for a job. Everyone else, Adam, Chris, thanks for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll speak to you next week or whenever you choose to listen. Bye-bye for now.